We're here with the man Maverick Approach, bro.
Yes.
How are you today, bro? How you feeling?
Good. I'm a little congested. The weather's changing, but I'm good though.
Yeah, it might be something there because I felt like that too. My throat was a little like, I don't know. It might have been like the humidifier was off last night or something, or it could be something else. But we're just putting positive vibrations in the ether, so we'll be all right.
Yeah, for sure.
So, bro, I'm super glad and grateful that you're able to take the time out of your day. I'm sure you got a lot going on to come down here and chop it up with me for an hour or so. But, dude, I'm glad. I'm interested in getting to know you, man. So, it's the concept of find your path is just like where you started, where you're at, and kind of where you're going. So, like, I guess let's take it back to the beginning, bro. Like, where'd you start from? Where'd you get your start? And what do you... let's start there.
Yeah, I mean, how far you want to go back?
I mean,
we can go way back. Well, for one, I'm from Los Angeles.
Okay, dope.
And I mean, I started in the entertainment industry, and I was 4 years old when I got into that.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so I did a lot of commercials.
No way.
A lot of all kind of stuff, print jobs. Sitcoms and whatnot.
No way.
Yeah, so,
that's tight. I mean, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it was cool. I was the top grossing kid at my agency, and it was fun. It was good times. And then from there, as I got older, it wasn't fun to me anymore. So like I see what a lot of child actors go through.
Yeah.
So when they're getting older, the work slows up, and then from there they're like, well, who am I? What am I doing?
Right.
So around 11, 12, 13-ish, I stopped that, got really into sports. So I started playing basketball from, high school all the way up to college. And I played at a private college in Georgia for a little while.
Dope.
And so, yeah, a lot of transitions, a lot of different things. And then ultimately, I was in college, and I got into entrepreneurship, and I got into trying to figure out what I wanted to do and trying out different things, which led me to real estate. So by the time I was 21, I was in college, and I was like, let me drop out because I'm already making some money in real estate and whatnot. Right. So then I went headfirst into doing my real estate company, which was about 22, 23-ish. And then from there, just, did that. And then, it was great. I did real estate for about 10, 12 years.
You still have doors and stuff? Like that's what the main thing is, or?
Yeah, so I kind of pioneered, if you want to say, the arbitrage rental market.
Oh, no way.
So when real estate was going into the rental kind of boom with Airbnb, I had a boutique agency that did rental arbitrage. So what that is essentially either I'll rent a place or buy a place myself, whichever is more affordable or whatever.
Right. Just pencils out.
Yeah. So from there, I took over the lease or the home itself and then re-rented. So I got permission from, I'm giving a lot of free game now.
Hey, I'm about to put me on the game, coach.
Yeah. So with that, I did a master lease. And what that is, I took over the lease, got permission from the owner. And what that did was let me control the calendar. So I can do all kind of bookings from short-term rentals, long-term rentals, even events, weddings, whatever the case may be. And I just scaled that up. First, I did just closing the deals in between, being the middleman.
Right.
And I saw how much the owners were making. And I was like, okay, one day I need to control the calendar completely. Yeah. So from there, I got my money up, and then I started to get my own properties. And then it just accelerated from there. And then I was the go-to guy from, films, events, all kind of stuff in between. And that kind of carried into what Airbnb and kind of complemented each other because Airbnb was a thing that was coming up around that time.
That's dope. I don't know. I forget what it was called, but there's an app now, and it's kind of like... It's not Airbnb, but it's something where it's like multiple people live in this space. I forget what it's called, but it's the same thing, right? The owner of the house has the house. They have 5 bedrooms, and they rent individual all 5 bedrooms out through the app, which is kind of crazy. I have one of my clients who's like a real estate investor.
Yeah.
He like, he remodels the houses or whatever, and he buys and holds some properties. And he bought like this one property. It's kind of like on Jones and Charleston, like not in the best area or whatever, but he basically remodeled like the garage and like everything to maximize it. It was like 7 bedrooms, and he's like said it's been booming, and he kind of like, it's not as like red flagged here as like Airbnb, because Airbnb is kind of hard to get started here because of the hotel industry. I feel like,
and they're starting to really open up. I know like last summer it became legal to do Airbnb. So now the market is starting to shift here, and being that this is a hot market. Las Vegas now is like super red hot because you have all the biggest film studios coming here. You got Sony and Warner coming here.
Right.
Like it's going to be crazy. Sports.
Yeah.
There's a rumor that LeBron James is bringing an NBA team here after he retires.
Oh, that's crazy.
Do you think that's going to happen?
I don't know. I don't follow sports, so I don't know.
I did unplug from sports. Like I used to be the biggest Lakers fan, biggest like basketball fan. Obviously me playing basketball. But then once I got into entrepreneurship and then kind of like doing what I do now for Maverick Approach, like doing deep dives on kind of how the government works, how money works, how the systems are set up way before you were born, and how everything kind of works now. I kind of connect the dots on a lot of stuff. Yeah. So I feel like sports are a distraction now.
Oh, yeah.
I
mean, it's just entertainment, right? Like, so it's like what you spend your time doing. So
did you know that as far as being a sports and entertainment company, the NFL is a sports entertainment company?
No, I didn't. But it makes sense. I mean, like, it's just entertainment. Yeah, you know what I mean? So, like, I don't personally watch TV. Like, we have, like, one night in our household where we watch TV, and it's, like, Friday evening. We watch, like, one movie, and that's it. But we're big on books. Like, my daughter, we read. Nice. Like, the family reads. Like, that's just good. It's, like, a staple. Like, we don't really... I mean, I guess some of the books she reads, she's like 3, so they're entertaining books, like, but yeah, I try to like maximize all my time into like absorbing information and outputting, I'm either like creating or absorbing information.
That's kind of where I'm at. Right now, I want to learn every day. And I think that even with your Instagram feed, I think that you have to be very mindful of your feed, right? Like if you're following a bunch of bullshit, that's all you're going to get. Versus following a bunch of people who are in economics or people who are in different spaces of business. If you want to learn different things and skills and trades, then have your feed reflect that. 100%. And that's what I do. I try to like minimize as much bullshit as possible in my feed. So where like even my subconscious, if I'm scrolling through something, then I'm like, okay, I don't want that in my psyche, Yeah.
No, that's true. And like, it's crazy because it's like, I'm sure you're probably in a similar position where like I've fabricated my whole life to be like really dope, like, and like the people I'm around and like all the situations and the information I intake, it's very fabricated and like curated to my life. And like, so when there's stuff outside of that, I'm like, I don't even fucking know what's going on. You know what I mean? And like, vice versa also, like, not that I'm like crazy wealthy or anything, but I feel like I'm pretty removed from, I guess, like the regular day-to-day type struggles. And so when I am met with situations like that, I'm like, damn, it makes me reflect and be like, I'm so fortunate. I'm very blessed to like not even have to worry about things like that anymore, which is really prominent in today's day and age, like groceries and gas and shit. People are really tripping about that.
Yeah. It's crazy right now. Like what's happening. Well, for one, I know that, as far as my page and my brand, I guess I'm a political, the go-to guy now. So when it comes to that, because when I started my page, it was more so of just stuff I wanted to talk about. Yeah. But now I leaned into, the political stuff because I did a lot of research. And I just voiced my opinion and people resonated with it. And what's going on with the gas and groceries and everything else, everything being sky high, that's because of this past administration. Right. They fucked us up. So now that Bitcoin is at 87K now.
Is that what it is?
It just
crazy.
Hit 86 or 87 today.
That's crazy.
And that's on just being President-elect Trump having that. And he's not even in office yet. Yeah. So like the economy is just doing well already. Well, not doing well, but like it's starting to come back. $1 trillion was added to the stock market just this week.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean I'm not a financial advisor or anything, but like bro, you got to be. I'm sure there's people out there that are gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna put my life savings into Bitcoin. It's fucking going up based on Bitcoin's track record. I'm not saying it's a good or bad investment, right? Like, it has gone up and down, just like the stock market. It will go up and down, and so like I think. For me personally, I'm not putting any money in Bitcoin, like, because it's too late, bro. I think it's too late.
Well, okay.
And dollar cost averaging, right? Like if I put $100 a fucking week into Bitcoin for the rest of my life and I make that commitment, then no matter what, in 10 years I'll be up. So like if you take the right approach into investing, I think that's healthy. But I'm not about to fucking put I'm not about to move 20 grand into Bitcoin right now and then fucking next week it'd be like down to 45 again. And I'll be like, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
Maverick told me.
Well, I would say this. If you're going to look into, because I have a blockchain company too, what you're going to do is not really worry about Bitcoin. What you really want to look into is utility tokens. Utility, utility-based asset, like tokens, those are going to really move. Like the ISO tokens, XRP, XLM, XDC, all these things that are solving real-world problems, those are the ones you want to get into. And those are going to be like, literally the banking industry is already invested into it.
Right.
Look up Citi Token Services. Citibank already has their blockchain.
Can you elaborate on like what utilities on a token is, or just because I feel like ever since NFTs I was like fuck all that, so I haven't been like I haven't been in the market.
Yeah. I mean, really, that's the thing. Like I think it just comes down to education, because what people were doing was correlating NFTs with the entire blockchain Web3 market. Right. And essentially, there were just pictures that were going up in value.
Right.
Like, that's a very small, minuscule, version of what it could be. So with utility tokens, as far as XRP, that is going to be the banking standard to move money across border payments. Like, if you want to send a wire, how long does it take?
Too long.
Right. So instead of 2 to 5 days, it's 2 to 5 seconds now. So that alone, money's going to move at the speed of light.
Yeah.
Right? So, imagine when you're doing, business on a Sunday night, banks are closed.
Right.
And you're trying to move money across to, wherever.
Right.
Like, now you can do that.
Yeah.
And when it comes to settlements, when it comes to refunds, when it comes to even daily payments, they're even talking about that now, to where people working 9 to 5, instead of getting paid every week or 2 weeks or every month, it's daily payments, which is kind of, a dopamine hit or incentivized kind of way to keep people, going.
Yeah.
So all in all, stuff like that, utility tokens, that's going to solve, there's even tokens that solve AI to verify what is AI, what's not, what is, pictures, videos, documents. That's crazy. If they're tampered with or changed, because now we're going to an age to where AI is getting better every day.
Yeah,
we're not going to know what's reality,
right,
and what's fake.
Yeah.
So even tokens that help solve that problem and the protocols that are in place, those are going to be solving real world problems. Same thing with tokenization as far as real estate.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen or heard something about that, instead of going into escrow, it could be held in some sort of coin or something, and it's instant. You even don't need a realtor or anything at that point. It's like, yo, I got this, here, sign, here, and it's instant transfer.
I have a prediction, and I've been saying this for probably a couple years now. We're not going to need real estate agents soon.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I'm not in the market, so I don't have a bias towards it, but
I think that we're going to have Uber agents. Now, Uber agents are going to be to where they'll be able to pick up a shift and either go show a house or open up a house, do a walkthrough, do check-ins, check-outs, whatever the case may be.
Right.
But when you have blockchain technology circumventing all that, escrow and everything else, everything can be verified on the blockchain. So when you have contingencies and safety protocols to make sure it's not a scam and everything else, everything can be verified on the blockchain instantaneously.
That's pretty dope. Yeah, that's pretty dope. I mean, I see the potential, right? Like, I think it's definitely the future, and I think that there's a lot of benefits to it. I think I've just been like, yeah, I don't know. I don't have any money. I think I like sold all my Bitcoin when it was at like 32,000 or something, and I was up a little bit. Yeah. And I was like, eh.
What are you investing into now?
So I have a IUL, I have like a Roth, and then I have like just
IUL's good.
Just a regular like stock, like S&P. Like I use Robinhood, so it's like a combination of like a bunch of ETFs. So that's pretty much like it. I'm as far as like investing, I look at it as like slow and steady. I'm just like every week I move, like each one gets like an X amount percentage, and it just like goes in, and it's just like dollar cost averaging. It just hopefully the economy just doesn't get washed out and it's like zombies. Then I think it'll be a wash, but I think like over a course of time it's always like solid, so just being like super safe and modest. I have like a real estate fund that I'm like allocating to, so that when it's time I'll just buy like another property. But mostly I guess the majority, that's like my safe, wealth building things. But overall, I think I'm investing into like the businesses. So I spend a lot of money on ads and like this shit. And just like active income, like a lot of it goes back into like the active income. Right.
I would definitely look into AI as well. AI with crypto, because those companies are going to be massive. Yeah. And I think everything is moving faster. Technology is getting better every day. Yeah. So I think that I'm heavily invested into like AI and whatnot. Yeah. I'm actually building my own search engine.
Dope.
That's AI based.
Let's go.
Yeah. So it's going to be AI powered, and you'll be able to verify, have an AI, that's pretty much verifying what is AI and not. Kind of that whole process. If you want to run through a document or a picture or whatever, you'll be able to do that. And it'll be unfiltered and unbiased, because there's a lot of fake news. Yeah. There's a lot of bullshit with the legacy media right now. Yeah. You'll type something in on YouTube, right? It'll have CNN, Fox News, and like, yo, where's all the independent stuff? Like, where's the creators like us to like, hey, where our videos pop up? It's like, it's a monopoly. Yeah. Right? So like, same thing when you go into Google, it's like completely controlled. Which is bullshit, because it's like it should be a level playing field when it comes to information. Yeah. And I think the next war will be an information war.
That makes sense. I mean, I think you're right. The only solution to combat anything is just to get richer. It's like the only way, like the only way you can make an impact in anything is like become richer and more influential to then like impact more people. Like, that's just like, we could all like be, I saw some like stupid ass video on like Elon Musk, like however you feel about him, but it was like just like this, I watched way too long of it. I was like 3 to 5 minutes into it, and I was like, what the fuck am I doing still watching this? It's like an attack on him. And then I was like, dude, I'm sure like it's not easy being that powerful and that wealthy, and I'm sure he's just moving at whatever he thinks is appropriate. But like, he's done a lot of good for the for the planet. I think personally, like I have a Tesla. He created the solar industry, which is like solving climate change. He created PayPal, like faster money transfer. So like, he's done a lot of good, I think, and I'm sure that like no matter how elegantly you move in that position, I'm sure you're gonna create some type of enemies, and so I just responded to it like, if you don't like it, just become that rich and powerful, and then you could change it, like like your own shit. Yeah, right. So it's like, it's easy to get swept away and all that shit, but it's like, it's just the rule, it's just the game, like in order to you have to play the game, win the game, and then you could influence the game, like so like
be a market maker. Like that's what I always say. Like that's why like I got so tired of like the fake news and legacy media. I'm like, you know what? Let me just build my own shit.
Build your own shit. That's what I'm saying. And your shit, it's got a lot of traffic on it, so that's a blessing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's called Diver, and we're developing it now, and we're training our AI right now.
Let's fucking go.
So yeah, it's cool. So I'm just like, be the change you want to see.
100%.
Like, it sounds cliche, sounds corny as fuck, but like, okay, everybody's like, okay, we all know the problem. So what is everybody doing?
Right. Yeah.
Everybody's just sitting around talking about it, or we're gonna do some shit.
Exactly.
So that's kind of my approach. Like I just like to be proactive. You know.
Let's fucking go. So it seems like you got a ton of shit. Like, what do you spend like what's like the main thing? What do you spend like the majority of your time kind of doing?
Now just content creation. Of course, investing, and that's pretty much it. I really don't go out too much. Like every now and again, have a good time. But really, I'm laser focused on building. I have the search engine thing going on. I own a streaming service. Of course, I have Maverick approach, and then I have my blockchain real estate company. So like my plate is full.
Yeah.
But I'm building an ecosystem to where it all feeds each other.
Yeah.
So I'm not split, right? And this is the main thing. Like when it comes to like building wealth, like people say, "Oh, I'll have multiple streams of income." That's the stupidest shit you could do.
Yeah.
You got to do one thing really good.
Yeah.
And then invest into other things.
Yeah.
Right? So like when I did like my acting, I was like, that's all I did. When I did my real estate, just do that. Stay focused and then be the best in that market and then have the capital to do, a multitude of things.
Yeah.
So I think that if you do something really well, double down on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, you can kind of like look at Elon. He did one thing.
Yeah.
PayPal.
Yeah.
He got rich off of that, reinvested
Right.
into, Tesla and everything else.
Right.
So same thing with Bill Gates and Steve Jobs.
Right.
Even though Bill Gates is an evil asshole and he
know.
wants to take over the world, but I'm using him as an example.
Yeah.
Even Steve Jobs, same thing. He did Apple and that was it. And now they have a conglomerate that's dominated the earth.
Yeah, and I think it's super important to be focused. I think in today's day and age, like people get lost in all kinds of shit. Like like for me, the main thing is the media company, and then I opened up this space thinking it's going to be like its own entity and doing its own thing, and that like fucking was a pain in my ass, like dealing with it. And maybe it will still be. Like the plan was to open up like this studio, prove the concept to show like the cash flow, and then I have investors I want to open up in Oregon, and then I looked up like the top I forget, like economic growth cities in the United States. And then the plan was to put like a studio in each one of those states. And it's totally possible, but this fucking place has been a headache. It's like just getting the systems and the operations dialed down to like, to get it on top of like dealing with all my, like just the media company. So that was a big lesson I learned from this is like this space is going to be dope, but it needs to be its own. Like Bradley, he's like interning and kind of like taking over the operations for this spot. But you could get scattered really quickly if and then your resources can become split. And like when you get divided, you lose like power and focus and attention. So it's important.
It looks good though. I like this space. It looks really cool,
bro. Yeah, I mean it's a dope space. It's just like not profitable yet, but it's like its second month open, so it's like last month we were like $300 short of breaking even, so it's not terrible. And then this month we'll see how it does. So but it's all good. You have to try shit, you know what I mean? You gotta try shit.
Entrepreneurship, you gotta try shit. You gotta take the L's to get to the W's. The more L's you take, the closer you are to that yes or to that W.
100%.
And people give up like halfway through, and that's where you really cash out and be like, oh, I have to cut my losses. It's like you can't really lose unless you quit.
Yeah, that's the only fucking thing.
So that's how I see it. If you quit, then you lose. It's like kind of like going back to crypto and Bitcoin. It's like you have an unrealized loss. Okay, well, wait until that shit goes up. And
that's it.
Get back in profit, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's how I look at any market. It's like just don't pull out. Like housing market, don't anything. Just don't pull out. Like that money is there. All right, we're good. It's gonna stay there until it's fucking up. Like you cannot lose if you don't pull it out. So
right, exactly.
Yeah, I just read, just kind of like going back on like the failure standpoint. I just read this book. It's like a Napoleon Hill book, but it was like one of these like lectures that wasn't published. It was like a really not a mainstream book, and it talked about the Thomas Edison, the light bulb story, which is like pretty well known, right? Like he failed like 10,000 times. Mm-hmm. But in this book, it like kind of elaborated from a different perspective in which like I've never heard. So Napoleon Hill like actually knew him. So he went to his like laboratory. He's like, yo, what's up with the incandescent? It's like, true, you failed this many times? And he was like, yeah, you want to see? And I guess he like walked over and showed him like stacks and stacks of books. And it was like logs of like every experiment. And they were like pretty in-depth experiments. They weren't like little like, you know, like, oh, that didn't work. It was like a procedure each time. And I relate that, like, to me, it's relatable to like YouTube. Right now I just started like taking YouTube serious. And I'm like, you know, trying to figure out the keywords and the algorithm and the, like, it's a lot of energy compared to like short form, and I'm only like 12 or 13 videos in, but those 13 videos maybe have like 100 views combined, right? And it's easy for me to feel discouraged, being like, dude, what the fuck? But if you take into consideration the 10,000 attempts that like Thomas Edison made, like, it's kind of crazy to think like most of us, I don't even have 10,000 posts on any of my social medias combined, like, you know, like, let alone. So you can't like feel discouraged after a couple fails, like, you know?
You just got to keep going. It's like that quote when Michael Jordan said, like, how many shots he missed. Because we already remember, like, the rings that he got,
right.
how many game winners he hit.
Yeah.
But he was like, dude, I missed tens of thousands of shots.
Yeah.
And it's like, a lot of those were game winners, too.
Yeah.
And I lost that game. So it's kind of like, I just got to keep going. You can't let that affect you.
Right.
So, I mean, you gotta take L's. That comes with the territory.
Yeah.
You know?
You can't win without trying. You got to try, and sometimes you fucking take it out.
Yeah, you're going to fall on your face. So
what's the next for you, bro? What are you excited about currently? Like, what's like the next kind of evolution?
To be honest, just everything I have going on, just expanding that, right? With the search engine, being that crypto is coming back up. You know, my blockchain company that is putting real estate on the blockchain, tokenization of real estate. I'm excited about that. And then I have a streaming service called Conspired. Conspired is like alternative news, documentaries, original series, all kind of stuff. Creators like ourselves can go on there. And I have a couple creators that I'm bringing on. You'll be able to go on there and pretty much, you know, post what you want. So it's like a hybrid of TikTok meets Hulu or Netflix, because you can go live.
Oh, dope.
From that platform too.
Dope.
So it's like very on the go as well.
That's
so not
sick.
only it's streaming, but it's live streaming too.
Let's fucking go. How'd you get into that?
Well, actually, through Maverick Approach. So when I started Maverick Approach, it was something that started to go viral a lot, and I got the attention of this company called Look Who. And Look Who has been around for a while, and they're a streaming service. But what makes them different is that they have a really cool business model to where it's not just streaming, but they have premium channels for creators. So kind of like a Patreon-ish type of thing, to where you'll have, you know, they have one channel called Champ TV, which is all MMA, you know, combat sports. Then they have my channel, Conspired, which is alternative news. They have different channels that you can subscribe to, or just the overall platform, Look Who, which has their own original programming and other, you know, films and documentaries on there as well. So got the attention of them. They're based out here in Vegas, and they were like, hey, we love what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. We're going to give you support. We're going to give you your own channel. And, you know, you curate the content and, you know, keep it going. So yeah, it's been great, and we're just starting out. We got some other creators that we just signed on, so I'm excited about that. And yeah, just expanding on that.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. You should check it out for sure. And,
that's what's up.
We're always looking for new creators and whatnot to, you know, because the creator economy is going to be massive. So right now, what's happening in the creator economy in America right now, there is 27 million content creators, and 12 million of those are full-time. So what's happening right now is the 9-to-5 is essentially dying because you have automation, AI, taking a lot of jobs. Content creation now is becoming a legit job. Like, people, it's not like a hobby. Like, obviously, Mr. Beast made $100 million last year.
Right.
So, like, he's making more than, like, most NBA athletes. So it's a thing now. You know, TikTok, I know people making thousands of dollars on TikTok lives per day.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, my buddy Quest does that shit. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. So it's a real live thing to where you can not only just make a living, but really thrive. and you can make a ton of money through content creation. And it's only gonna get crazier because here's another gem. There's another gem. You might want to write this down. Everybody want to write this down. Content creation is going to be on the blockchain. And there's a company called Record, and they're on the Sui blockchain. And what's going to happen is you'll be able to take content like this and, say if somebody feels like, one of your followers feels like it's going to go viral or do really well online, they'll make you an offer to buy that content from you on the blockchain, and they'll be able to monetize it. So they win, you win, everybody wins.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. So
that's interesting. Yeah, I'm thinking like, what could I sell? Like,
yeah. Start gearing up, man. Start gearing up. But that's what's happening on the blockchain with content creation. So the creator economy is only get bigger.
It's kind of nuts, dude. Yeah. I've been doing this shit. I LLC'd like the company Pathfinder in 2016, so I've been like full time making content since 2016. Not like of myself, but like for clients and shit or whatever. So like, it's kind of nuts how far it's like developed since then, Mm-hmm. And 2016 seems like a while ago already. I think of it as like, holy fuck, that was just the other day. But now it's like been some years.
Yeah.
So we've been in the game.
That's dope. I love to see that. Like you have, stuck with it, because most people will be like, this isn't, because it's not all sunshine and rainbows all the time.
Yeah. No, I mean, for sure. Like, so 2016 LLC'd, and then kind of like struggling. I didn't make any money until 2020, honestly. Like 2020 was my biggest financial year up until that point. And then after that, it just kept like expanding. Yeah. So it's just like, it's just a struggle and figuring it out and staying consistent. And it's like, I'm big on like self-development and shit, like reading a lot, expanding your consciousness. And once you like understand like the fundamental laws of how the universe works, it's like impossible to fail. You just have to have faith and continue to create like based on the truth, it's like once you know the truth, you can't like be, I don't know, persuaded, right? Or like you can't like have fear. That's how I look at it. It's like now I know enough about the universe. Like I'm still uncovering like myself and like learning myself or whatever. But I know and trust myself enough to like know that like I don't really have fear around any situation. Like I could be wiped out right now and like in New York or a different place and know that I'm gonna be all right just based off like the skills and that I have. And
do you believe in manifestation?
100%. It's like definitely facts. Like
a lot of people don't believe in that.
Well, it's like there's like I'm sure we're not at the like mental capacity yet where it's like Star Wars where you could just be like zoom and like create a fucking thing right here. But it's like starts in the mind, like this space. So this space is an interesting story. So we have an e-commerce business called Stargaze, and we sell like Jewish ritual candles. And it does pretty well because it's like a really niche like thing, and they burn the candles every week, and so it's like subscription model. So it does pretty well, and like we've grown it. We're actually selling it right now because again, the scattered attention and it's like too much to manage a whole other fucking organization. So we have an office. It's on like Sahara in Maryland. It's fucking ghetto. And my wife and my daughter were going there a lot. And I went down there one time and I was like, what the fuck is this? There was like, bro, it was like a whole DEA setup. There's like crackheads and like all kinds of shit, like a sting operation in front of my eyes. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, my fucking 2-year-old and my wife are coming here every single day. Like, I was like, no fucking way. And one of my clients is upstairs. And I was like, all right, this is a nice area. Like, it's nicer than over there. I was like, so I inquired about this spot. We signed the lease or whatever. And this was supposed to be a studio for the e-commerce store, like to hold inventory, to have the candle maker here and everything. But then we changed, like in the midst of it, because I signed for this place like in April or May or something like early in the year, and I didn't get the keys till August. So in that time frame, we outsourced the manufacturing to China, and like we let go our employee that was working there. We got rid of that office, and now it's just like a shipping operation. Like we're just shipping shit, which kind of still a pain in the ass because it took over like my whole extra bedroom in my house. Anyways, so this place was supposed to be that, but then like pivoting to that and then wanting to sell the thing, I don't have this fucking space that I'm like contracted into. And instead of like freaking out or having fear about it, I just kind of like opened up to see what it could be. And then it became this. And so now I'm like, again, instead of like, most people be like, fuck, now I have a $2,000 expense attached to me to this business that's no longer in operations. Like, what the fuck am I going to do, right? Like, you would trip. But, like, having faith and knowing that I could pretty much monetize anything with ads and, like, the skills and shit, I was like, all right, I can figure this shit out. So then I just turned it into this. And still, it wasn't supposed to be a podcast studio. It was supposed to just be my YouTube office. I was like, fuck it. I'll start doing YouTube. I'll start monetizing on YouTube, and it'll just be my office.
Right.
And then it created this. But then, it, like, I guess going back to the manifestation aspect of it, it was like, it was all a thought in my mind, right? Like, and thought is molded and it's fluid. And as you think it, you create it. And so, like, then the thought came, like, all right, it'll be my office. Then it was like, all right, it'll be the podcast studio. And then, boom, like, fucking, now we're sitting in this space. And, like, like, you know what I mean?
That's all it is. Like, when you look at any and everything starts with a thought. Like from the shoes you're wearing to the car you're driving, somebody had to sit down and think, okay, this is what I want to do. How am I going to do it? What does it look like? What is it, what does it feel like, etc.
Right.
It starts in your mind. Mm-hmm. So everything literally is a manifestation into whatever you're thinking, and then it becomes reality.
Yeah.
So, I think that it's not like a magic genie type of shit where it's like, oh, I wish I had $1 million. Where's the $1 million?
Yeah.
When people say that shit, I'm like, you're stupid. It's not how it works.
Yeah.
It's more of a chain of events that you start and spark with that idea. Then you go into, okay, the next step, and then everything starts to pull towards you as you start to think it, and it's possible. Don't think you can do it. Know you can do it.
Right.
Once you can do that, like, that the sky's blue. That's what it is. You know that you're breathing air.
100%.
Have the same energy towards whatever you're trying to do, and it pulls towards you.
Well, and also it's like not your responsibility to fucking explain your vision to anybody. You just have to show them. Like, think about, again, Thomas Edison. Like, he invented a fucking camera, or like the recording apparatus. Can you imagine, like, in those days, no one's ever seen a fucking camera.
They're like, you're crazy.
He was like,
this stupid shit.
What the fuck is this? Who's gonna buy it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? Who's gonna use it? And he's like, nah, bro, it's gonna capture an image, and it'll be a fucking picture, and everybody's gonna want a picture, and people will be like, what the fuck? Yeah. So it's kind of nuts, dude, to think of, like, capture an idea like that. And I try to, reading these books, it inspires me because I try to capture that essence of it. Like, think of a fucking idea that's so, like, it doesn't have to be like, like a fucking, I'm gonna build a high rise, something crazy, but like an apparatus, something that's never been done before, and you catch that and then create it. Like you said, take the steps to, like, creating that. It's inspiring, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, people in this generation, like, there's been a couple major things like that, like Uber, Airbnb. There's been a couple major, like, game changers, crypto, whatever, the blockchain.
People were super leery about renting out their houses to strangers, or getting in a car with a stranger. We were told growing up, hey, don't get in a car with a stranger. Now everybody's doing it.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like, so it's all in, what we deem to be sane and insane until, it's proven and it's a concept, and then it's like reality. Yeah. So
100%.
It's all, based on the perception of what is deemed crazy or not. Yeah. It seems crazy until it's done. Yeah. So that's kind of like what's happening.
And the biggest thing is your mind, your own capacity to imagine is like the limitation. Like, you can create, like, again, a fucking recording apparatus, like something that's never been done. Like, you could totally make it happen. And that's a big thing right now that I, like, in my studies or in my, like, self-development, I'm, like, really just trying to break through the limitations in my mind, right? Like, right now, it's like a goal, like, if I'm like, oh, I'm going to make $1 million, right? Like, in a year. But, like, what's stopping you from making $1 million in a month, or $1 million in a day, or $1 million in an hour? Like, it's like, those are all different thought constrictions that I have upon myself, because I'm like, well, I don't know if I can make $1 million in an hour, like, or in a day, or in a month, like, but if I was like, I know I can, then it would be possible, like, you know. So it's like unpeeling those layers of belief is like what I've been working on. Really.
And then I think that along with that, you got to have some type of plan of action, and really just have put yourself in a position to do so.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be working at, fucking McDonald's. Be like, I'm going to make $1 million in a day. It's like, what, frying hamburgers? Like, it's not going to happen. Put yourself in a position, in a room, so your chances, statistically, will go higher. Percentage-wise, it'll go higher.
Yeah.
Hey, if I'm in a room with Elon, I have a better shot of making $1 million in a day versus working at McDonald's.
Yeah. Well, I think it depends on, like, the person's position in life. Like, right? Like, have you read the book Hard Times Create Strong Men?
I've heard of it.
It's an amazing book. But basically, like, in it says a lot of shit that's really dope. But one of the concepts is, like, a young man is the most useless fucking thing on this planet. Like, a young man's only fucking value is their desire to, like, be willing to exert energy. Like, all they have is energy. They have no skills. They have no fucking self-awareness. They have nothing. So, like, as a young man, if you need to develop those skills and you're at McDonald's just to generate capital, like, that's a good place to start. But if you're, like, a grown man and you're like, I'm gonna fucking figure it out, and you're like 50 years old and you're in McDonald's, and maybe, like you're saying, the opportunity is different.
Yeah, your chances go down.
Extensively. Dramatically.
So I think that, if you're in a position to do so, then take the steps. Like I said, plan your work and work your plan. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
But just having that belief first. And then, like I'll tell you a story. So, like, before I started my real estate company, I was trying to figure it out, and I even got to a really rock bottom place, like, where I was homeless. And then from there, I'm like, okay, never fucking again. I'm never going to be in this spot again. So from that point, I'm like, well, I can't get any lower. Like, there's nothing. There's nothing to lose, bro. So then from there, I knew that I had that fire to where I'm like, okay, if I hit rock bottom and I'm already here, can't go any lower, then I have nothing to lose. Now anything is possible. Like, at that point, it's kind of like, well, I can pretty much try and do anything because I'm at this level. I have nothing to lose. Fuck it. So from there, then that's when I got into the real estate stuff and then built up my network. And then I look back and I'm like, holy shit, I turned this into a 7-figure business.
Right.
From being homeless. So there's no excuse. I'm not saying, like, it's carved out for everybody the same way. But what I'm saying is that being that something, that's where it starts. I'm like, okay, I know I can do this because I got here to this bottom, rock bottom place, and I know I'm better than this. I know it just sparked me, and I knew I was like, okay, I know I can do. And I'm capable. I'm young, healthy. What the fuck am I doing?
Right.
So from there, I just propelled myself. And then just, it's that drive. And then really it's just that motivation. And then once you get past that motivational point, you have to be disciplined. That's real success. Anytime you don't want to do nothing, that's when you really do it.
Yeah, discipline is, like, mandatory, bro. Like, that's how you, I think it becomes a little more difficult when you're comfortable, right? Because, like, when you're comfortable, you don't have to do shit. Like, I don't have to fucking leave the house. Like, my wife right now is trying to sell me on going to Japan for a month, like, from December 8th to January 15th, right? Like, we went for a month already in July, bro. I was like, you want to go for another month? Like, I don't know. We're still, like, negotiating. Like, we'll probably go not that long. I'm thinking, like, I'll do the last 2 weeks of December and maybe, like, the first week of January potentially. Gotcha. But anyways, it's easy to be like, when you don't have to do shit, you could go do that, right? Like, you could just go fucking do whatever the fuck. And if you don't stick to your disciplines, it's easy to, like, slide down, like, the slippery slope. And that's something, like, maybe I struggle with. Is that, like, I'll just be like, fuck it, I'm not going to wake up early today, or fuck it, I'm not going to do whatever, like, right? And then before you know it, I'm fucking, like, just wasting time and life and whatever. Doom scrolling. And then you feel like shit, and you're like, dude, I don't know why I feel like shit. And then I'm like, all right, well, I haven't been waking up at 5. I haven't been going to the gym every day. I haven't been, like, sticking to my diet. I haven't been reading. And then when you're in that space, right, like, not that it's like a total rock bottom, but just like maybe drifting, the last thing you want to fucking do is your discipline. The last thing you want to go do is run a mile. The last thing you want to do is read a book. But then you just make yourself do it. At least for me, right? I make myself do it for a day, 2, 3, and then I'm like charged up again. I'm like, oh, I don't know what changed, but it's doing those disciplines. And so adversity, like you're saying, is really truly a blessing, because when you have no fucking choice because you're like homeless, then you have to, like, you don't have a choice but to stick to the disciplines and but to succeed. So like it's hard to, when you're at a more elevated state, to fabricate that adversity, because that energy is magic, bro. Like that up against the wall energy is like, it's magic. It literally shapes universes, because you have to, like, you know. And so as in the current state of, you know, being I'm like, I need to fabricate more of that explosive energy to like create expansion. But this fucking place feels like it. This place, because it's kind of cool, because it's like its own entity with its own bank account, and it kind of creates that stress. I'm like, holy fuck, this bank account is not looking good. We got to do something, because rent is coming up. Yeah. So what the fuck are we gonna do?
No, that's good though. That's good, because now you're forced to make this work. You have, you know, people depending on you. You have, you know, a whole place that, you know, requires you to push it along. You know? It's not like crazy booming to where it's like a WeWork, like publicly traded, like, you know. So you're building something, and that should propel you to do that. That's what it does for me as well. Like, when I'm starting something, I'm like fired up. Like, I have that underdog, chip on my shoulder type of attitude. And you know what I do too to really help me? I compare myself to all these like successful billionaires. That's what I do. And people were like, why are you even prepared? Like, why are you even looking at them? Because you kind of have to do that. I'm like, fuck, Elon just did this. Or so-and-so just did this. Like, all right, I got to figure something else out or make it better, whatever I'm doing. Like, that kind of propels you to keep going, because if you're looking towards them, like Elon, he's the richest man on earth. It's like there's not too many people who are not even going to be close to him. But having that energy helps you. Yeah. So, you know, I look at all these guys who are at the top right now, and I'm like, okay, I'm coming for your head, all of them.
Dude, that's an interesting concept. I'm glad you said that, because I say that to my guys too, or like just clients and stuff. I'm like, dude, even when I'm like, well, I was telling you, like when I'm drifting, that doesn't mean I'm not fucking showing up at a high level for clients, for my staff, for everybody. Like, I'm fucking still showing up. I'm just not in a, like, as good of a mood. But like, the reason is because at any given point, bro, someone will fucking is like dying to take your spot. Like, there's someone right now that would like fucking take my wife and my house and my family and my fucking bank account. They would fucking kill me if they had a chance. Like, if they're like, what? I just got to knock him off. And that's how it was in barbaric times. Like that Hard Times Create Strong Men book talks about, like, back in the day, like when there was kings and shit, like you would have to fucking protect your shit. Yeah, bro, because someone will come smoke you, take your fucking kingdom, fuck your wife, do all that shit. Like, bro, that's like for real. And so if you keep that same energy in today's day and age, like, it's no, like, that's why I'm on point with all my shit. All my shit, like my staff, my like my service is like on point. But again, like, sometimes it's hard to be like in the enthusiasm, but like even when I'm at my like drifting, I'm still have that fucking edge. Like, everybody knows, like, it's not a game, and you have to keep that. And the way I like talk about it, like when I'm talking to my staff, I'm be like, today is like I'm on Michael Jordan energy, right? Like, I'm just fucking getting the job done. So like, don't fuck with me, because it's Michael Jordan time. All right, we're just here to get the fucking job done. We're not having fun today. Like, right.
No, you gotta do that. You gotta keep that energy, and like, you don't, like you said, you don't want to be in that space where you're like constantly drifting. Yeah. And then like, oh yeah, I'm making money and it's cool, and you're just kind of complacent and like, this is nice and I'm making good money. And no, because somebody's hungry. Somebody's right behind you.
Somebody's waiting.
They want your wife.
Trying to take your shit.
Your podcast studio. They want everything you have, because they don't have it.
Quick. They would take it. And
they'll take it. So that's that. Yeah, that you got to keep that energy for sure.
You got to stay on point, bro.
Yeah, 100%.
Motherfuckers can't play me. I'm just kidding. No, but you got to keep it. So yeah, bro, we're going over into an hour. So where can the people find you, bro? What's, you know?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram, which is Maverick Approach on there. On X, Mav Approach, MAVE Approach. YouTube, same thing, Maverick Approach. And my TikTok, I believe it's Just look up Maverick Approach on there. So everything Maverick, and then MaverickApproach.com.
Let's go
as well. So I have my courses on there. I do classes where I teach blockchain, crypto, pretty much everything that I've learned over the years. I just do a lot of classes on that and real estate and whatnot. I'm even gonna do like a decoding type of thing to where like how the movies, media, and everything else is like weaponized against you.
100% is.
I just kind of.
Before we split on that, based on what you just, before we're out of here, I want to hear your perspective on this. The Donald Trump assassination, do you think it was fabricated or you think it was authentic?
I think it was real.
What?
I think it was real.
I think that based off what you said, everything is fucking weaponized. Everything that's on a screen is fabricated. So I think it was fabricated, personally.
Why do you think it was fabricated?
Because the motherfucker was up on the roof. Everyone's like, oh, this motherfucker's on the roof. You think a real motherfucker would get on the roof? Donald Trump, bro, you think anyone would get on the roof? If I was that rich, motherfucker would be shut down the whole block, bro. There's no way.
But here's the thing. You don't think somebody conspired and let that person on the roof?
Oh, that's true. I guess I didn't think about that.
A lot of people don't like Donald Trump.
But also, the fucking ear, like he just so happened to graze his ear. Like, what are the odds? Like, the motherfucker didn't have no stitches. I didn't see no fucking stitch.
Well, he had like a mark on his ear, and that's the thing. Let's go with your theory of being fake. What did that do for him?
Won him the election. That's like undisputed publicity,
but
bro.
People were still like,
yeah, but the publicity though, like everyone was talking about it. Like the publicity of that was like insane. So this is what I think DJT's marketing, because like on YouTube, social media, traditional networks, it was all Harris. Right. They were fucking throwing money at the wall, right?
Yeah.
DJT, assassination attempt, podcast, Joe Rogan, you know what I mean? PBD, like, so that was his, like, that was how he spent his marketing campaign. That's what I think. So I don't know. That's just my perception.
I mean, okay. Do you think the second one was fake?
I didn't even know there was a second one. That one sounds more real because I ain't hear about it.
well, that's the thing. So the guy he didn't get a shot off. It was at his golf course, and the guy was like off to the side, set up, and he was waiting there for hours, about to snipe him on the golf course.
That's crazy.
So they locked him up and everything else, but that's what I mean. So like, if the first one was fake, then you're gonna fake a second one?
Probably not. I mean, because motherfucker, that's the thing, is like when you put that out in the universe, someone's like, oh, you could do it? Oh, shit. You get real motherfuckers out there trying. Like, maybe. But because it was real, that shit was stopped. There was no show for it.
Yeah. I mean, well, and then there was a third attempt.
Motherfuckers want him dead, bro.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So, like how far, like, can we say, like, okay, well, yeah, it's fake, but you're gonna fake something 2 and 3 times over?
I mean, I didn't say the second or third one. I just think the publicity one was. I don't know, but I don't know. You know what I mean?
Personally, I don't think so. I just think there was a lot of hate from the left, and their dangerous rhetoric kind of like sparked that. And then if you look into the actual shooters themselves, they were like tied to BlackRock.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the first shooter, he was his high school. BlackRock came to his high school to shoot a commercial, and he was in the commercial.
Oh, shit.
Then the second guy, he was also in some propaganda. I think it was about Ukraine or something.
Oh, what?
That was sponsored by BlackRock.
That's wild.
So it's a little odd.
I mean, yeah, I don't know.
So I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't follow the shit close, really, but I know you did. That's why I was asking.
Yeah.
And you were going into, like, the shit is weaponized, so I think media is a powerful tool, bro. And I said that before, I was crazy successful or whatever. Not that I am crazy successful, but it's like it's a powerful tool, bro. You could literally create imagery. You could create imagery to shape a thought in somebody's mind to do something, which is it's a superpower, bro. So like, at the highest level, like that's what it is. So like you could weaponize it if you choose to.
You know it's legal for the government to weaponize propaganda against us, right?
I don't know.
So there's a act called the Smith-Mundt Act that was signed, or it was modernized by Obama. So back in 1948, it was a law, Smith-Mundt Act, to protect the U.S. citizens from propaganda. Now, in 2012, Obama modernized it and made it to where it's legal to create propaganda and weaponize it against foreign and domestic people, right?
That's crazy.
So
That's what Hitler did. That was one of Hitler's superpowers, is that the propaganda. It was like, because the power in that, it's like programming people's subconscious mind. If you are delivering the same messaging across like posters, ads, commercials, TVs, they're like, then you believe it. You're internalizing it subconsciously and not knowing. You're like, oh shit. That's why I don't watch shit. That's why I don't do anything. Even social media is fucking dangerous. No matter how curated my shit is, still it's like dangerous to let anything in.
Have you seen the movie Leave the World Behind?
Yeah.
Okay.
That shit was crazy.
So everything in that movie has happened this year, right? So you had the Tesla recalls, you had the biggest blackout with CrowdStrike, you had planes falling out of the sky, everything, right? Communications, all that stuff. Now, do you know who produced that movie?
BlackRock.
No.
I don't know who.
Higher Ground Productions. You know who owns Higher Ground Productions? Michelle and Barack Obama.
Propaganda.
There you go.
These
so they signed off on it, and all of a sudden now they're making movies about our demise, which is literally happening right now. What are the chances?
Yeah, this shit is crazy. It is kind of crazy. Like, that's what I mean, is like my investment strategy is not going to work if some shit like that happens, right? Yeah. And that's why I have one gun at the crib, and I have a shotgun at my parents' house. That's mine, but my stepdad's like not trying to give it back to me. But my wife's like, why would we need any of that shit? I was like, cause bro, like, if they God forbid, right?
Like, you gotta protect yourself. Like,
that's gonna be probably the fucking most valuable thing we have in our whole entire house. If money's not worth anything,
Second Amendment, man. Like, right to bear arms. Like, I'm saying, like, and that's the thing. Like, a lot of people were saying, oh yeah, we gotta ban assault weapons and everything else. Okay, fine. Say they did that. What's the next step? I think we're gonna take the handguns now. Now there's no guns. That's what happened with the pandemic, right? First, it was 6 feet. Oh, now you got to wear your mask. Now it's mandatory, which is against the Constitution. Now it's this. Now it's that. They pushed the line so many times. They're like, oh, okay, we can do this.
Right.
So now we can do it with the guns. Okay.
Bro, during the pandemic I felt like I was going to war everywhere. I didn't wear the fucking mask. I was like, fuck y'all. I'm not doing the 6 feet. I'm not doing the shit.
Which turned out to be bullshit anyway.
Right. I mean,
Fauci.
Bro, I went to war with everyone, and like literally all the time in fucking places and shit. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't give a fuck.
Put your mask on. Put your mask on. I'm like,
but now
this
I'm
shit
like,
doesn't work.
I didn't get the fucking vaccine. Everyone's like, get the vaccine. My mom was sweating me. I was like, you're fucking nuts. Like, you're smoking dope.
Yeah, nobody they didn't realize that the mask that you're putting on doesn't prevent it, because for one, it's restricting oxygen, which can cause more respiratory issues.
And then motherfuckers got funky shit in their mouth. Y'all not brushing your teeth, Americans, all right? You're creating mold in the fucking mask. Now you got toxic mold.
Yeah, carbon
killing
dioxide.
You more.
You're breathing in carbon dioxide. Like, you know, that's not healthy.
Yeah.
And then turns out that didn't work. The 6 feet didn't work. There's a whole documentary on Dr. Fauci now to where like everything he said was bullshit. So it's like, well, this is what we're dealing with. Like, a bunch of shit that wasn't true, and they just want to see how far they can push it.
How do you feel? All right, bro. I mean, we can keep going. I don't got nowhere to be, but I'm just saying. How do you feel about the American population, just like as a whole? So I spent a month in Japan, and that kind of separated me from American culture and just Americans as general. So I want to hear kind of your perspective, and then I'll shed light on how I feel, and we'll see where that goes.
So the American population, in what degree? Just
like as just overall, like if you had to do, like, yeah, how do you feel? I mean, America's the greatest country in the world, right? Obviously, the land of opportunity. It's hard to talk shit because like I live here.
I talk shit about America all the time, but it's not Americans I'm talking about. It's the government. The government is an issue. We're too over-governed right now. Like, the way things used to be, it's nowhere what we are today.
Yeah.
Right? So like when it comes to taxes, when it comes to being overgoverned, the tremendous spending and everything else, it's like, how can the government fail all their audits and nobody go to jail? What happens when you fail an audit?
Motherfuckers is coming, bro. I'm still paying, bro. Correct. My tax bill is stupid.
So that's what I'm saying. So it's like there's these constructs that they put in place to where they can do it, but not you.
Yeah.
What happens when you poison somebody? You go to jail.
Right? They did that at scale.
They're doing it at scale. They're doing it with the food. Who's going to jail right now?
Yeah.
Nobody.
So that kind of, yeah. So you think that's the government is, I mean, ultimately leadership, right? Like leadership is always responsible for like the downline of people. And so this was kind of like what I realized when I went to Japan. In Japan, 90% of people are exceptional. Like,
oh yeah,
fucking
I love Japan.
Amazing, right? Like 10% of people are fucking terrible. Now, came back to America and I was like, wow, 90% of people are fucking terrible here. 10% of them are exceptional, right? Like the general population is lazy, fat, stupid, fucking illiterate. Like,
why do you think that is though?
It's because the government wants, so this is what the conclusion I came to. It's like, the government, America is consumers, right? The government wants dumb, stupid, lazy, like consumers to profit from. And so it's like knowing that it's hard to be like, oh, fuck Americans, because it's like, they're like, you can't be like, fuck your consumer, right? You're like, you just have to understand that because the consumers of my business and my like service are all like business owners at a higher level, like all 7-figure and above, because we're not cheap. And so I'm like almost insulated, right, with that layer of people. And then so when I like go down to like the next layer of people, I'm like, holy fuck, this is kind of crazy, like, you know. And so again, going back to leadership is like they want you poisoned, they want you eating McDonald's, they want you eating fucking shit from Smith's with all the fucking preservatives and all the chemicals and shit, so that you're foggy and you're not powerful enough and you can't do anything.
You have
besides
no critical thinking,
right?
And you're not a threat to the system,
right?
And that's the whole thing, like going into even the trans stuff. Like I think that shit is it's so far off from what the initial agenda is, right? So like, love who you love, be gay, whatever, fine.
Right.
I always say being trans has nothing to do with sexuality. They confuse the two because if you don't know what you are, a boy, a girl, a cat, a dog, a giraffe, anything, you're not a threat to the system.
Right.
So that's the whole agenda that they're playing on people now, to where they want people to be like, oh, it's part of the gay agenda. It's like, well, I have gay friends, and they're like,
they're like, fuck all that.
They're like, I'm not with that. Like, I know I'm a girl or a boy, and I just like what I like, and that's it.
Yeah.
So like, they're pushing this agenda. Like, I don't know if you remember where Target was pushing that whole thing where like they were putting girls' clothes in the boy section.
Oh yeah.
And all that weird shit. And it's like, kids don't know who they are yet. So why are you gonna push this whole thing of gender on these kids? That's an agenda. It's like I always say, just like any other constructs, gender is a construct, right? There's boy and there's girl, and that's it. So like money is a construct, gender is a construct, even to some degree, religion, a lot of religions are constructs. Like all these things that we think in our head are real, we're really making them real. They're not really, they have, like, money really doesn't have value. We created money and then gave it value. Right. So it's not really something that exists because, it's God's money or whatever the case may be, like gold, and gold has utility. It's not just a store of value. It has actual utilities. It's in your phones.
It's like literally a conductor.
It's a conductor, everything. So like when it comes to these constructs, they want to confuse you and keep you occupied so you're not a threat to the system.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I mean, just they don't want people powerful. And just like a side tangent, like that, something my wife kind of gets on me is like, I kind of understand like the concept of construct, and I know that everything is man-made, and every rule or every fact is
even
only
time.
There's literally a theory of relativity. Literally.
Time is not real. Do you know that the calendar used to have 13 months instead of 12?
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. So nothing is real, bro. Only thing is real is what you make, and nothing that anybody says. So my wife is like, gets pissed about me like not following the rules or not doing whatever the fuck. Because I do whatever the fuck I want. I don't care like what rules I break, who the fuck said the rules. I'm like, there's no fucking rules. You do whatever you want. And she plays it against me because my daughter does this shit. And she's like, oh, there's no rules. I make the rules in this fucking house. I'm the construct in this house.
Yeah, I mean, you get to the head of the household, so you know.
But anyways, you could do whatever the fuck you want. Anything your imagination.
Yeah, for sure. So
anyways,
I always like to empower people, and I'll say this: when we close. Basically, this is why I do what I do. I show people how to, be free and have free thinking and critical thinking and be entrepreneurs, because that's what empowers you.
Right.
When you have information, when you have the means to gain money, when you have, like-minded people around you, build a community. Those are the things that are truly going to make you successful. Like what to eat, what not to eat, all these different things.
Yeah.
So, and I teach people all this through Maverick approach. I'd be like, hey, don't eat chicken. I haven't ate chicken in 3 years. Like, completely cut it out of my diet. All these different things. Get into the blockchain. At least take a look at it.
Right.
See what the implications are to the financial system. All these different things. So yeah, that's what it's about. It's just empowering people, empowering yourself.
Maverick approach, empowering the community.
There you go.
Let's fucking go.